Okay, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of On Point EDC. Today I have a really cool review for you from the brand Monterey Bay Knives. You guys might remember I've done another review of a very similar knife, and it was actually the version 1.0 to this new improved 2.0. But a little bit about the brand. They were founded back in 2017 by custom knife maker Ray Laconico and Stanford Owen of Carmel Cutlery. Now, basically the project was to release high-end production knives based on Laconico's designs and others using various OEMs. Now, a little bit about this type of knife. This is a titanium frame lock, and it's actually an integral frame lock, which is nice. So a little bit about those key common characteristics in design language. Of course, you're going to have that Chris Reeve style integral lock, which is just an evolution of the Walker liner lock, essentially titanium handles, now with an integrated frame lock. Now, essentially, the integral portion is also because not only is the lock bar integrated, the entire handle construction is integrated. It's just one piece. It's a one-piece frame versus your typical kind of two-piece construction, whether you have a lock side and a show side. Now, this is the MBK EZC 2.0, and EZC being easy carry, and now it's basically infused with some really cool upgrades from the XLC integrals, and these are really nice, and I think currently sold out. These go for $285 direct from Monterey Bay Knives, and they're super nice. So with all that said, let's actually jump right in and get this piece in hand. Okay guys, now before we get this piece in hand, quick wristwatch check. Got my little Seiko 5 sports model on a custom Uncle Seiko flat polish bracelet that's actually meant for the Speedmaster. Now, before you bite my head off for wasting your time with a wristwatch check during the warm-up to a knife review, guys, I've actually talked to Ray Laconico about this watch. He actually is a Seiko fan and a fan of this watch. So before you bite my head off, just know that this particular wristwatch check actually makes sense for the review because the knife designer, Ray, is actually a Seiko fan. So in your face, comment section. So, okay, guys, let's jump into it. So this is... Man, what a beauty. Those specs did go across the screen, but this thing is absolutely the picture perfect for an everyday carry. And as you can see from the construction, it's just one big piece of titanium. Maybe not big piece, but it's essentially just one piece of titanium there, apart from, of course, you got your clip. But the original model was two. And you even actually had a backspacer. So, I mean, if you want to consider that three pieces of hunks of titanium versus just a single. So you can see there are some things that are slightly different. It's actually a little bit shorter. Doesn't have the lanyard hole, of course, is now one piece. And then the clip construction is actually quite a bit more refined as well. Also, the flipper construction as well, and that geometry, now you're getting a bit of jimping there, so I think it's good to woo that action. This is good, but this is great, and you can see slightly different there on the slope, and all these little things that they did just make the knife so much better in absolutely pretty much every way. But I mean, this was already a very handsome design. I dig it. I almost think that maybe MBK should sell this variant or license it to be released by Kaiser, who made this particular one, you know, for their first run. So they can still be produced as a bit of a budget alternative. Now, this bad boy, though, this is something special. You got the integral construction. It's perfect size, beautiful aesthetic. Absolutely just clean, minimalist, modern. That action is insane. It just snaps. This is a beast. This is a really nice knife. Now, as far as benchmarks go, when you're trying to compare something like this, you got to start, of course, with your small Sebenza. Very similar in size and scale and use case. So there you have it. This is a little Insingo knife art, small Sebenza 21. I love it. It's probably one of my most carried knives, honestly, and it holds up very well. And it is very minimalist and just contains just the right amount of lines. Oh, this is actually an aftermarket clip, so don't be alarmed by that. It is milled, and also milled in Idaho, not by Chris Reeve, but by Millet Knives. So they do a really great job making something that actually is up on par with the same quality as your Chris Reeve Sebenza, but much different when it comes to prices, guys. You got something that's like $475 versus something that is $285 direct from Monterey Bay Knives, and this has M390 blade steel versus you know, S35 VN, which is great, but it's S35 VN. As far as this goes and some other comparables, hey, let's get another comparable from Mr. Ray Laconico himself, but this one's a front flipper. Boom, the small Centuri. Lovely knife. Love this knife. Super thin, and if you compare them there, you can see quite thin, but you know, milled out, all that jazz. But this thing is an absolute slicer. You can see the thinness in comparison. Also the front actuation. I love this design from Ray. This is actually one of his favorite designs as well. I think the Centuri, I enjoy the organic curvature of it. It feels really good in hand, and it's very similar in size to the Monterey Bay EZC. So if you like this and you're like, oh man, I'm just so over flippers, and maybe you just want to get some front flipping action, look into this artisan cutlery. There's a full review in the channel history there. And then when you think about just wonderful 2020 production custom releases, you got to talk about Mr. Shamwari from Gareth Bull, and oh yes, Enrique Pena, the Mula X series. This thing's nice. It's obviously a little bit bigger in comparison. Maybe I'll put it over here to let the camera trick your eyes a little bit, so you'll think that they're a little bit closer in size, just because of the camera angle there. Look at that. So obviously we got this front flipper here, minimalist, right? They have a very similar silhouette. It's just round in the right places, lines in the right places, epic action. Even has a beautiful looking lock side as well, where here you also have a good looking lock side because of this beautifully milled clip with the cutout, which actually matches the nice fuller along this show scale. So really beautiful, very minimalist, very little branding, as you can see there on the blades. So really great. Also, you know, you got 20 CV, basically just M390 from a different manufacturer, and actually even similar blade profiles in a way. Of course, just dealt with and executed slightly differently, but you know, similar silhouettes, similar footprint in hand. But these guys are absolutely outstanding. This thing, ooh, yeah, it's a good knife. But on the other side of that, you know, nice little titanium Titan here from Enrique Pena. I did a recent review of this. Nothing like a good thumb stud frame lock. I mean, man, they are just, whew, a little bit bigger in scale, guys. But again, it's you're looking at that kind of, you're taking a you know, full custom, going production, adding some little tweaks, goodies, upgraded blade steel, that side of it here. Also M390, and then M390 on the blade steel here as well. And these nice little details, you know, this definitely, of course, is more minimalist. Then here you have a couple of more just accents, some ornate details there that I think really make these, man, this is a beautiful knife. And it's a, you know, it fills the hand a little bit more, obviously heavier, but man, this is a really, really finely executed knife. But there's another knife that came out this year that really caught my eye when it comes to its aesthetic. What? Quiet Carry Waypoint. Man, that is a handsome blade. Look at these guys. These probably, I mean, as far as looks go, man, just flat out, just minimalist. Every line is a gorgeous one, you know, nothing extra. These two, there's something to be said for these two knives. I mean, the waypoint is gorgeous, and then to even, oh, this also have an aftermarket Rips Garage Tech clip on here. These typically come with wire clips. You just kind of have to be careful with the hardware because it is titanium, and then if you strip the screw, you're screwed. But this thing, look at that. Even the lock side's cool because they did a little inset lock there. So you're getting almost two show sides because you're not seeing the lock cut out there. So this is a, man, and you know, something about thumb stud actuation, it just never gets old. Never ever. This is just always going to be a good time to, ooh, what? How dare I? This is always just going to be a good one to flip with. And then of course it has crazy, you know, undying steel essentially. So check also for the full review of this. But when it comes to flat out looks, I'm gonna say that the waypoint is pretty close. I mean, this is just a straight up gorgeous, you know, piece of man candy in hand as well. But out of all those knives, to even include my Chris Reeves Sebenza, there is something about Ray Laconico's EZC that just does it, man. It just does. This just does it for me. Obviously, it is, you know, really well done, and you know, the whole 9 yards, guys. I'm sure there's tons of other reviews. You hear that? Just that is a satisfying lock. Man, that thing just sings. It's just, oh man. So extremely great rocket action on this bad boy, and then it is just handsome. It's just look at this thing. It's a piece of art. That is a great looking knife. It looks excellent on this side. It looks excellent on this side. It looks good open. It looks good closed. This is just, it's a whole new ball game of that minimalist aesthetic that is just executed to extremely high level, to where it's the general aesthetic that's gorgeous, but it's the fine details that really make it something special. Obviously, you know, like I said before, let's go through some of the specs. You got Bowler M390 super stainless steel. You get this beautiful drop point, kind of near leaf shape. You get the high flat grind. It's satinized. It's very sharp out of box. We have the milled pocket clip, about 7 inches in length, 3-inch blade, about a 3.8-inch handle here, and about 2.75 ounces, guys. Well under 3 ounces. This is a real lightweight carry, and it's an integral. I mean, technically, integrals are going to run a little bit heavier because, you know, they're having it's just one big piece, so you can't save weight by throwing standoffs or something out there. So this thing, man, if you can, God, I hope the microphone's picking that up. That is extremely satisfying, because it flies right out. Anyways, guys, in-hand ergonomics, very excellent. As you can see, the fingers, they just don't wander. It's a really simple stick shape, and bam. And then you want to get into maybe some, you know, more EDC type holds. You can do that maybe, you know, if you need to. It's just it's a beautiful knife to hold. It's one that you whip out of the pocket. You need to use it. You're getting a little fidget factor here, and then you're getting a ton of form factor. My God, look at this thing. And it's one thing that I was gushing about, this bad boy, the 1.0, which, you see how slow that blade is in comparison? Look at this. Oh, misfired. Now look at this. Whoo, that's fast. And again, you get the same great looks, but even more refined because you lose the lanyard hole, which, you know, a little unnecessary. And I enjoy a lanyard, guys. This thing is just gorgeous, man. In hand, great ergonomics. You know, the flipper becomes a nice little finger guard if needed, so you're not gonna accidentally slip and catch your finger onto the blade. So that's nice. Obviously, the little slope, you know, everything being re-engineered ergonomically, I think helped you get a little bit more cutting edge as well, which is nice compared to your little 1.0 here. Let's take a look. You can see how much further out this comes in comparison, and the angle there also helps. So you're getting, you know, a similar blade length, but you're actually getting slightly more cutting edge, which is very useful, very nice. So again, this thing's still a handsome knife. Come on, guys, it's not bad, but this thing is just so next level. Like, this is why they're sold out. They're just, you want one, you need one. You just gotta have one. Smooth, open. You get that nice close. Obviously, it's light, so it's not like this thing's gonna fall shut. It's relatively thin. You know, whew, it's nice. Really great flipper geometry on this, and you get a little bit of jimping there, and it's not harsh jimping. It's just enough to catch your finger and make sure this thing is just gonna absolutely just lock itself to death every time you use it. As far as model variants go, guys, of course, there's the XLC if you want the larger one, and then there's actually an EWC, which is a non-locking kind of go everywhere carry. That's a front flip version of this, which is actually really cool. Almost got one, but didn't, opted for this bad boy instead, and you know, a couple other different knives. But man, this is good. In pocket, of course, it's gonna lay flat, very unobtrusive, very compact. This milled pocket clip is great. A little bit of spring to it, but it's not gonna hurt your jeans. It's not gonna hurt to put it into your jeans, take them out. It's just beautiful. I mean, as far as comparable models go, you saw me kind of talk about it before. Let's just whip them back out again. You got the Century, also a Ray Laconico design, but a front flipper. You got Quiet Carry Waypoint. You got Gareth Bull. Ooh, a little front flip action. You got, ooh man, little Enrique Pena. Let's do that because he's a little taller, so I'll use the to trick the camera into thinking that they're smaller. And then you got your classic Sebenza, which doesn't snap and fly. It's just a slow roll typically, kind of, you know, feels like it's that glass. Like I really have to whip my wrist to get it to flip like that. But hey, maybe I'll get a 31 because I hear those ones flap out super nice. But it's got a lot of competition, guys. But to my eye, there is something of a sweet spot that is just hit with this EZC. And you know, also, yeah man, Ray Laconico likes Seikos, that's cool. So yeah, let's come on. Also, there'll be a review of the watch. It's already up, and then the bracelet is coming soon, so keep an eye out for that. But I am a lover of this knife. It's just, it's everything, man. This thing's the business. Bottom line, you get the minimalist design, you got that, and that beautiful finishing that's so cleanly executed. It just helps this thing come so much closer than your average production take on a custom. It has an absolutely gorgeous design that just is begging to be something that you can buy without being on a year-long waiting list, right? So I think it's cool. I love kind of production takes on customs, and this is definitely one of my favorite. You know, I mean, all of these are excellent knives. You can't go wrong with any of them. But man, this is just a sweet spot. This thing is awesome. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like the video, please do it like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.